Please welcome SingleStore Solutions Engineer, Justin Stranotko.
So first and foremost, really amazing to see a lot of familiar faces in the audience, a lot of new faces as well. Now, I'm incredibly cognizant that there's a break right after this, so we'll try to get through this, but the point here is to kind of talk about what Jared was just mentioning. It's about intentionality. And so what we're going to be talking about today is specifically agentic-powered marketing. Now, Jared ended on a really great point, which is AI is coming, AI is being integrated, but the big piece is that it's human. And so the idea here is what we are not doing is replacing. We are augmenting. And so when we start to think about what this really means, it really comes down to, again, that intentionality, finding the areas that AI can actually help us. Now, if you think about marketing as a whole, right, many of us think about banner ads or the ads that come up in front of videos that we want to watch, YouTube being a really great example. But if we think about it a step further, it can actually be incredibly helpful. Now, after today, you're all going to go home, right? And on your way home, maybe you're hungry, you want to stop at a fast casual restaurant. Imagine if, as soon as you go into that restaurant, your phone vibrates. You look at it, and for that restaurant, you now have a coupon for 10% off. The likelihood of converting, which is what we call that in kind of the marketing industry, right, buying something is now probably much higher. And potentially, because of that coupon, you may want to increase the size of your order. Now, that's great for both you as the consumer and for the restaurant. But when you peel that back a little bit and you start to think about the architecture, really what's happening, it's really about data in the now. And so this kind of brings, or really begets a question, which is, when is data most valuable? Now, it depends, of course, on the industry, but for marketing, for intelligence, and even for the financial services industry, data is most valuable when it's produced. When you walk into that store, that data point is fresh. It's incredibly valuable. You can get that coupon immediately. You can action on it. Imagine if that same interaction happened. You walk into that store, but 2 days later, you get that coupon. You may not even live in New York City. Maybe you actually live in San Francisco. That coupon has no value to you now. And as a result, no value to the company. And so timeliness of that data is incredibly important. And so today, what I'm really going to go through is talking about how AI can actually augment, not replace, in this case, the chief marketing officer, the people that actually build out those brand campaigns. High level, this is powered by our SingleStore Helios platform, which is a SaaS platform. SaaS, SaaS, not SaaS, the company, right? Or SaaS, rather. And so the idea here is it's AI powered. We're using vector search, right? Vectors, of course, it's a lot of why we're here. We're kind of talking about this in the AI space. And of course, we're also talking about real-time user engagement monitoring. And the idea here is that this dashboard coincides or really brings together SingleStore, an LLM, and the capabilities that both can really enable, okay? And so if we get into this a little bit more, this is actually what this is going to look like. So I'm going to start the video in a second, but let's kind of talk about what we're really doing. As you can see on the left-hand side, and we're going to move left to middle, we have a couple spots. Welcome, we have an image generation service, right? This is going to help us in our brand campaign. We're going to have clickstream data as well. We're going to build out emails, we're going to monitor them, and we're also going to optimize our campaign. Now, what's really cool about this is, in the same way that we work with LLMs, whether you're using ChatGPT, Perplexity, or any number of others that are coming out, it seems like day by day, we have another 10. And so this is going to be our at least initial prompt. And we can always continue to enhance this over time, right? It's very iterative. So the first one is we're going to build a marketing campaign, and we're going to target the financial services industry. And I think you guys can probably guess why, right? We're here in New York City, kind of center for America for the financial services industry. And we're also going to describe what we actually want to do. Positioning, key value propositions, content and themes, channel strategy. Can you believe that I used to do a little bit of this in my past life, right? And so this is now going to start playing. And so what we're going to do is we're going to just hit generate. This is going to take a little while because we're actually generating this, right? So this is going to the LLM. We've given it our context, and we've actually fed a lot of this data in. Now, one of the cool things is when we start thinking and moving from your traditional RAG model, which is a lot of what we see, get documents, put them in. Let the LLM look at those documents. It's phenomenal, but it only is really scratching the surface. What we're doing now is we're taking it a step further and allowing the AI to actually help augment what we're doing. So it's going to take a little bit, but now what you see is we actually have quite a few more that have just come up. What this has done is intelligently take what we've said and now actually bring it through. And also you can see this right here, that we are actually generating a lot of information. So this is timeliness. So we have short-term goals, long-term goals. We also have key metrics, and we can even break down a budget allocation. Where do we want to advertise based on previous success, right? So the more information you give it, the better the returns and the better the quality. And so if we take this a step further, talking about that next step, right? Generating the actual image, right, that we would use theoretically as a banner ad. And you can see this right up here. Create a simple digital banner ad. I know we all hate them, but they really are quite ubiquitous. They're really everywhere. And so the idea is we're going to generate. It's going to take a little while. But the big thing here is that this is actually being done on the fly. When you provide additional context to that LLM, or really to any service, what you're doing is you're giving it information to be able to help you. Now, I think about LLMs in a very straightforward way, which is really they're almost like an assistant. Or in some cases, depending on the LLM, they could be like a child, they could be an intern, they could be a PhD prodigy. But it all depends on how you train them, what information you give them, and what challenge or task you actually ask them to do. Now, this is actually quite a big task. We want something that's high fidelity, we want something that looks good, and we want something that's available pretty immediately. And so, as you can see here, what we start to change will really impact the output, which is incredibly beneficial. Now, this is going to take a little bit, so I'll talk through a little bit about what we see on the left-hand side, and we'll go through this. But high level, the idea is, as you change things, it becomes better. And so for this iterative kind of piece, right, when we have the image generation, when we have our clickstream data, our email monitor, because we're working both from a database layer and an integration with an LLM, you have the full capabilities of both. You've heard a lot about what SingleStore is today, and we'll go through that a lot more. But the idea here is, and actually this is a great explanation of kind of what we do to a large degree, we have embedding models, we have pipelines, we have all the information that you kind of would require, rows and columnar data, vectors, right, CDC in and out. And you can see a lot of what that does. Now, if we take this a step further, we can actually look at how the campaigns are doing. And so right here on the clickstream side, we actually see a user who's going in and they have, let's just say they're on a certain page, and they've come in from a certain campaign. This is live. And so ironically enough, back in 2015, 2016, I was doing this manually for a financial company, actually tracking website metrics, click-through rates, understanding how pages could be optimized. But now I can do it in real time. And when we take that a step further, imagine those emails that you get. You go to a website, you go into the cart, you add an item, but you never go back. You get that email, hey, in this case, my name's Justin. So they say, Justin, come on back. Same thing. And we can generate this on the fly. At the same time, we can also optimize our campaigns, and we can see what's happening in real time once it's analyzing, right? And the big thing here is by bringing together both this database, the vectors together, we can now actually analyze this one place, single time. So this is the aggregation of everything we just saw. User goes through, they click on a page, they add an item to a cart. And now we can start to see how the campaigns are doing from a high-level perspective. And of course, think about optimization, where that human and the AI kind of elements meet together. We now have something that's incredibly powerful. This is how we can optimize these campaigns. Now, pretty cool, right? At least an idea. And so why does this matter? This is data that was actually just gotten from a company. So it was just released by a company called Sensor Tower. Sensor Tower has data on every app in the world, in every market. And so one of the big things, this is quite recent, actually probably about a week ago, $137 billion spent, up 12%. And as we go further, you start to see 16.3 trillion impressions. This is when someone actually looks at an ad for a little while, clicks on an ad, so this is both types. So every time you see those banner ads, those pop-up ads, everything in front of YouTube, that's what we're counting. And so believe it or not, Facebook still not just for your parents, not just necessarily for you, maybe not your kids, but definitely still very important. And so when we bring this further, shopping, right? Think now about the integrations on Instagram, on TikTok, where instead of having to go to a website and wonder, what did my favorite influencer wear? What did, I don't know if Kim Kardashian's still big, but imagine if she is. What is she wearing? My goodness, right? Now I can circle on it, right, with Gemini. I can click on it through the TikTok store. we're making it easier and easier to buy the things that we see. Now, it's powerful, but it also gives us a good opportunity to, right? And you could kind of see the integration shopping immediately into Amazon, right? The big thing here is when we make it easier, right? When we reduce that friction, we are both helping the consumer, we're helping the business as well, because everyone's basically just getting what they want. And so when we think about how we can put these together, and I know this is a lot of information, so you can kind of take it in as you go, but the high level is this. When we start to combine a database solution like SingleStore that's meant for high concurrency, low latency, essentially speed, right? Reducing that time to answer, and you have a problem like the current status quo over there, slow analytics and outperformance. Well, can I really analyze my data in real time? No, I can't. Can I even analyze data in a BI layer efficiently? Well, no, I really can't. And so the benefit for you guys, and this is not something necessarily for now, but thinking long term, is really the idea that we can activate real-time segmentation, attribution, optimization. Think about the campaign that I just showed you. Imagine if I had no idea what my users are doing. Can I really make effective decisions? And so in closing, right before our break, let me just say, kind of echoing what Jared had said, it's really about the coincidence of AI and kind of human intelligence coming together. It's augmentation, not replacement. So with that, thank you guys very much.